Eisenhower was sworn in as thousands crowded in front of the Capitol this morning.
A ceasefire in Korea is now in effect, ending the Korean War. Military leaders.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first telecast from KFEQ TV in St. Joseph.
Thanks for joining us this evening and welcome to our 70th anniversary special.
Oh yes, over the next half hour, we'll be taking a trip down memory lane, looking at the last 70 years of television history right here in St. Joseph.
Yes, and right here, this is the studio where it all began when announcer Wally Johnson said the opening that you heard at the beginning of the show at 2:30 p.m. on September 27th, 1953.
That's an early show. The very first broadcast consisted of an introductory program followed by several CBS and Dumont Networks movies and some live shows including local news, weather, and sports.
In 1953, viewers in the Midland Empire got their first glimpse of broadcast television coming from right here in St. Joseph, Missouri. KFEQ began as an affiliate of the CBS network, broadcasting a number of live local programs. In its infancy, KFEQ played host to popular shows such as Let's Dance, Wally's Birthday Studio, and The Pony Express Show.
And let's find out who we have here in the barbershop quartet jacket and the great big bow tie. What's your name?
David Griffin.
And of course, one of the station's most successful shows in its
Eisenhower was sworn in as thousands crowded in front of the Capitol this morning.
A ceasefire in Korea is now in effect, ending the Korean War. Military leaders.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first telecast from KFEQ TV in St. Joseph.
Thanks for joining us this evening and welcome to part 2 of our 70th anniversary special.
This week, we'll be taking a look at a little bit more of the history of KQ2, some of the top stories over the last 70 years, and of course, the people who have made KQ-TV what it is today.
That's right. Throughout the years, the station has seen many changes, including a change of call letters, ownership, and even nearly 250 feet being removed from the iconic tower. One of the most notable is the switch from analog to the digital age.
7 decades on air. That's how long KQ-TV has been a mainstay here in St. Joseph. And through those years, there's been a number of changes to the station.
Blue screen technology was reasonably new back then, and it had challenges. The other challenge was we very rarely were able to do videotape production in the station. They had such a limited amount of equipment back in the back room that any videotape we did had to be fit in between local commercials to network broadcasting because the equipment for local production was the exact same that they had to use on the air at the time. So it was a challenge.
But in June of 2009, a new era of television history came to St. Joseph.
As he shut off the analog in one room, I was turning on the digital in the second room. So we terminated all of our analog and began broadcasting in digital within a matter of a second or two.
With that new era came a new series of challenges.
Things kind of got complicated, and we discovered one of our contractors had run over our coax line, which was outside going up the tower. And so the new transmitter immediately tripped off because it said something was wrong. And it took us about an hour to find and repair the breach. We had been analog since the late 40s when television kind of got a foothold in America. But the transition to digital was not particularly smooth.
The digital age at KQ-TV also witnessed 250 feet being cut off the station's tower in order to put in a digital transmitter.
They decided to shorten the tower. I gave it my best argument against that, but we took 250 feet off the top and made the flat platform with the 60-foot antenna on top of that, which is the way it looks now. But it was a landmark. It still is.
That whole process was just something that everybody in the whole city could see, in the whole area, and everybody kind of watched it progress over the years. And because that tower was such a piece of the station's history, it was really cool to be a part of that and see that whole transition and just see how really the industry was evolving and see that change happening.
KQTV has been on the air for 70 years, and KQ2's chief meteorologist, Mike Braciano, has been here for more than half of that time. Normally, Mike would stand right here in the Weather Center to bring you the latest forecast and, of course, the almanac. But today we hear from Mike on one of the major weather stories that happened here in the station's 7-decade history, the flood of '93.
Let's talk about the flood of '93.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so the flood of '93, it was kind of an interesting setup. I remember I was coming back in from Nebraska, and it had rained so much that the Missouri River was flooding over. And at that time, the water plant was down by the river. And I remember our news director, Drew Hadwell, at the time, he called me up and he said, "Man, you better fill up your bathtubs with water right now because the water's going off." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "Yep, the water's gonna be shut off." And lo and behold, 2 hours later, the water was shut off. We didn't have any water here, and the flood was at record heights. And all along the Missouri River, over on the Kansas side, over by Elwood, there were problems over there with how they were going to be able to keep the water in. And it was just something else to kind of see that driving over 36 highway over the bridge and to see, unfortunately, Elwood was underwater from all the breaks, along the river. I remember we had porta potties out underneath the tower, and that's where we went to the bathroom. And the station was kind enough to get us hotels rooms over in, I think it was Cameron. And so we would go over to Cameron, take a shower, and then come back in here to work.
Wow.
So it was really a kind of an interesting day and setup when it came to that flood of '93. And to actually be, some of the people that would actually wait in line just right over here, over at East Hills Mall. They had an area where you could go over and get water and pick up water and take it home. So it was quite the adventure. And I think the biggest thing was the fact that you don't realize how reliant you are on water until you lose it. And then you're just kind of going, okay, how are we going to do this?
That had to have been a scary time. I imagine
Yeah.
a lot of people at that time were looking at KQ2, were looking to
Yes.
Mike Braciano for this critical information.
And we would have people that would go out and cover the story, and at night we would always be keeping very close watch on what the river level was. Everybody wanted to know what the river level was, when it was going to go down, and how that was all taking place. And so yeah, we were watched a lot back there in '93.
How long did it take
to
go down?
I don't remember exactly how long
Yeah.
it took, but I do remember the first time that we were able to have water back. You turned on the water and it was brown first. It came out because there was some dirt, but then it all kind of cleaned out a little bit. But everybody pulled together during that time of the '93 flood, and that was really pretty cool too, to see everybody
the
do
community
that.
come
Yeah,
together,
the community
stay
came
strong
together, and everybody here at the station came together, and there was no, hey, we've got, everybody was all chipping in and doing the best they could with that too.
Still ahead on part 2 of our 70th anniversary special, we'll take a look back at the last decade of sports history.
And later we meet some of the people who have been a part of KQTV over the last 70 years.
Hi everybody, my name is Ron Johnson. I am a former reporter and weekend anchor at KQTV. I was there from May of 2018 to February of 2022. Happy 70th anniversary, KQ2.
Welcome back to part 2 of our 70th anniversary special. So far, you've seen the station making the switch from analog to digital and heard Mike's recounting of the major flooding in 1993.
Well, now we move on to the world of sports, if you can't tell by the set. And so much has happened here in the last 70 years. As we saw last week when the studio would be changed into a full-blown wrestling ring. But tonight, KQ2 Sports Director Chris Rausch brings us the last decade of KQ2 sports.
As we go back through time, there's a lot of history to discuss at KQ2. We've talked already about Big 2 Wrestling and the mega hit it truly was. So let's take a look at the last 10 years of local and area sports that's happened since our 60th anniversary. The Kansas City Royals winning the 2015 World Series, the club's first championship since 1985.
I remember the Royals winning then, and I go, let's do it again. Well, we did it again. That final W was the biggest W of them all, and that W now stands for World Champions.
Or the Kansas City Chiefs winning 2 Super Bowls.
Many people thought this was a retooling year, so in Kansas City, this is what a rebuilding year looks like right here.
Besides the Royals and Chiefs, we've seen national championships won on multiple occasions. Northwest Missouri State football winning 2013, 15, and 16. And the Bearcat men's basketball team winning national titles in 2017, 19, 21, and 22.
Yeah, it's absurd. I mean, it really is. I mean, no one, until you win one, you don't understand. There's so much things that can go wrong. I mean, it's just and we were good enough and tough enough that we didn't allow anything to go wrong for 3 straight seasons.
To the high school level, with so many state championships won, football teams winning multiple titles. Basketball, historic runs too.
It's unbelievable. I mean, we really never had a goal to win state at the start of the year.
Soccer, baseball, softball all had champs. That's not all. Swimming and volleyball, wrestling to boot.
I like it. I like how people think, oh, these guys are the team to beat. I like to target on our backs.
He's one of the better wrestlers that Missouri's ever had.
It means the world to me. I will always keep this with me.
We finally got it as a sport, and most states don't have it that actually have a lot of girls wrestling. So I was kind of surprised when we got it, but it was good for just Missouri. Most Missouri girls that had to always wrestle boys, now we just got to get to wrestle each other now.
And of course, golf and track have plenty of top finishes too.
We were definitely unsatisfied last year after getting second, but I'm so happy we could finish this year with a state championship, especially with it being my senior year.
I thought we played pretty well yesterday. We struggled a bit at times today, and it did get pretty close for a while on the team side of it. And, the kids just kind of barreled through it.
The state champion, who is here with 15.76 meters from Central St. Joseph, Mackenzie.
It's my senior year. I just want to, my goal is to make the podium. I want to throw good, and I just feel really calm and just throw out there. Yeah.
A lot of championships won and teams crowned as the best in their respective sport. So who knows, maybe more will be crowned the next 10 years when we celebrate KQ2's 80th anniversary.
Thanks, Chris. So much has happened for the KQ2 sports team here in the last decade.
Well, still ahead on part 2 of our 70th anniversary special, we'll hear from former KQ-TV staff on some of their favorite memories here at KQ2. Over the past 70 years, KQ-TV has seen a number of employees walk through the doors, from on-air talent and production crews to creative services and sales staff.
And each and every person has helped play a role in making the station what it is today. And tonight we hear from just a few of the many on some of their fondest moments here.
Some of the fascinating people that I was able to interview along the way. A luncheon in Kansas City with Richard Nixon, when he was there in Kansas City to make a speech. Some of the memorable stories, I think the most challenging was the Benton Gymnasium collapse. The most fun that I had for a story was half a day riding around in the Goodyear blimp when it made a visit to St. Joseph.
And it was always fun to go out and do a live shot now and then. We did them all kinds of times, day and night. The most fun ones was when we would have Mike Brasciano out at the ballpark at Phil Welch Stadium getting ready to play baseball, and he would be doing the weather cut-ins for the evening news, and those were always fun.
Probably most of my fondest memories I might not be able to talk about because they happened off camera, but I think that just shows the camaraderie that the staff has.
The City Chiefs winning their first ever Super Bowl. Oh my goodness, that was a great time. I remember covering that parade. It was so cold, but I didn't care. I had so much fun covering that. Oh man, that was great, covering the Kansas City Chiefs. And then, of course, the number one story that I covered at KQ2 definitely was the pandemic and COVID-19 and its impact on St. Joe and really the rest of the planet, right?
There's one that stands out was TJ Bacon with the Mustangs receiving a new wheelchair. He's such a good guy, and it was such a great story to film. And some moments just covering all of the athletes and programs here that went to state championship tournaments, state title games, all of that. It's something I couldn't have drawn up because it was so memorable, and I appreciated all the teams.
It was just kind of fun to go to work and be in your low to mid 20s and be working in a newsroom with other people in the low to mid 20s that are kind of figuring out life at that time. But then we also had certain staples around, like Andy, an executive producer, and Bridget, news director, and Alan anchoring, and Mike down in the weather center. That were also people that you could kind of look up to, but then learn a lot from as you
doing sports related stuff. We had some donkey basketball that a group of our staff went out to like Union Star or someplace in their gym, and we played against their faculty, the teachers, and here, you know, we're all wearing our KQTV donkey ball uniforms, whatever. And we had some sand volleyball that we did together. We had some benefit softball games that we did for, I think, Muscular Dystrophy Association, playing different people, you know, civic leaders and stuff like that. So it's a great opportunity, not only interacting with these people here, but people in the community as well.
Doing the brainstorming, I got to interact with a lot of younger viewers, which I think is an experience that not a lot of people get to have. So I will always carry that with me as I'm moving through my life. And also going to the animal shelter. I have a lot of memorable stories. It was really hard for me not to adopt all the pets, but they all did really make a lasting impact on me. And that's something that I'll always cherish and remember.
Up next on part 2 of the 70th anniversary special, we'll take a look at what has made KQ2 special over the last 70 years, the people. Stay with us.
Well, happy 70th anniversary, KQTV. It's been great being here for a large part of that, some 30-odd years. I've met some great people, made some great friends here at KQTV, and I know that it's going to continue to be a great place to work, and it is a great station. So once again, congratulations on that 70th anniversary, and I'll probably stick around for a few more years.
Welcome back. We just heard from a few of the many people who have called KQTV home.
And each of these former employees we've talked to over the last few weeks have all shared one thing in common that they have found to be so special about this place: the people.
Over 70 years, people have come and gone at KQTV.
There have been a lot of faces that come and go throughout the years, but I think at the core, you still have, those people who are committed to, telling the stories of the community and making sure that they're doing that work that's important to the community.
Well, what is amazing to me is that in 7 years being a leader there, you meet a lot of people, and so it is so rewarding to look at them and go, oh, I was news director when they were starting out as a reporter, and then to see that they've advanced and gone on to someplace bigger.
Always an interesting crop of people that came through there. It was a good location to jump off for future careers.
But with those faces remains a connection that stays with many.
Because it is such a small staff, because everyone works so hard, they become family. We are a family here, and I've been privileged to be a part of it for almost 20 years.
The best part about it was the people that I worked with. We were blessed to have a great staff.
It was just getting to know my coworkers, getting to anchor with so many different people, getting to know them on that level.
That it is not an accident that KQ2 has been around for 70 years. That is a testament to how enduring the station is, how much it cares for the community of St. Joe and Northwest Missouri and Northeast Kansas, and you know, it's a great thing that we were able to be a part of, and I'm grateful, like I said, to have worked there for the time that I did.
I was there a year, but I felt like it was just, those months were really shaped me to go on to another station actually within our company, and it like readied me for everything. Everything I know now, I truly can like trace back to the things that I learned in St. Joe.
I really do hope that people in St. Joe realize how lucky they are to have a local station. There are so many towns the size of St. Joseph that don't have that, and so they're watching the news from metropolitan area an hour and a half away, and KQ2 lets people in St. Joseph know exactly what's happening in their community, and I think people are really lucky to have it.
Mary Grace, I've got to agree with everyone. The people are definitely what make this place so special.
I agree. It definitely still holds true to this day. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the 70th anniversary special. Welcome back. Over the last week, we've taken a look back at 70 years of history of KQTV.
From the very first broadcast, the history of our beloved station, and of course, the people that have made working here special.
Thank you for joining us on this trip down memory lane.
Have a great night.